Hi, this is Laura Goslin Harris, and I'm here with Jo Beth Eckerman. And this is episode number 4 of The Angel and the Shaman. I thought it might be fun if we do a little bit of drumming. And now I'm passing it to my shaman friend, which is much more appropriate for her to be the drummer.
I only hit that a few times.
I gave it some wax.
Yeah, all right, let's call the energy of the power of this animal into the space. We're doing a little drum smudging.
That's clear.
Nice drum.
I think that's the buffalo one.
Feels
this
like
is
it.
one that my daughter made.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So that's one of the things that's a buffalo. So tonight we have, in addition to our usual friends Sarah and Jake, we have our friend Art. Plus my daughter Claire. Say hello, Claire.
Hello.
Hello. Art, say hello.
Hello.
Toast.
In the basement of the GH house,
Having cocktails.
having some cocktails and water, talking about spirituality. So tonight's episode, guys, it's been so long since we've done an episode. I honestly can't remember what we were talking about.
I've been out of touch for a few weeks.
That is because my friend has done some major work in her life. We won't go into it unless she wants to. But we also did have recently a women's retreat that we did out in Sandpoint, Idaho, where it is the sacred feminine, and we talk about knowledge that Jo Beth gathered from lots of different things. But the thing that always amazes me is that as a child, she had been talked to, if it's okay for me to talk about this, by
Absolutely.
13 grandmothers, and we're not talking like they came over to her house. Like they like spiritually would show up when she was in little areas like
Quiet time.
Like
Let's on the toilet.
Quiet. Okay,
In the
well
bathroom,
she said it, but
with
yeah.
the door not locked, but
So-
at least it was quiet time. Yep.
And they were there nurturing her and making sure
Always
that her
showing up.
spirit was not squelched by the amazing drama that her soul chose to dive right into when it was born.
No victims here.
No victims. She chose it. She said, "Give me the all you can eat." Anyway, so we had a great time. It's always
We had a
really
good time.
interesting.
That's the best weekend.
You know, okay, I know exactly what we're going to talk about tonight because I have been festering on this idea forever.
Festering. Well, let's pop that pimple, Laura
right.
Goslin Harris.
Okay, so here's the deal. Over the past few years now, working with my friend Jo Beth, I have had many wonderful experiences. And I'm totally excited we could talk about this because, I had kind of I wouldn't say a sad day, but there was a lot of sadness around. I feel like everyone's feeling sad right now. So this is a really good, way off the topic, philosophical idea.
Big push.
We do this thing all the time where we talk about the sacred feminine. We talk about the, what is it called? The equinoxes, the what is it? How
Precession of
Precession of the equinox.
Precession of equinoxes. Look
All
that
right,
one up. That's
all right.
a doozy.
It is a doozy. And let's talk about the book that I have read from cover to cover several times, The Flower of Life by your buddy Drumvala, which I would say his name wrong, who she actually worked with.
Drumvala, yeah.
Drumvala. I'm
baby.
so sorry, sir. I say your name
Sweetheart.
wrong. I say potpourri instead of potpourri. But anyway, she knows this guy. She actually worked with him.
Yep.
So,
darling.
okay. So we always talk about this. I'm going to get to nitty gritty. There was a time prior to this time that women were literally in charge, right? Like we were literally I wouldn't say the rulers, but it was the time of the feminine, right? Where in the book, Drumvala talks about, how do I say his name?
Drumvala.
I'm so sorry, sir. Once again, I said your name wrong again. Drumvala says, I'm going to call him Captain D, because that way I won't screw it up.
Yeah, he's a good captain. He's a great captain.
There was machines that were more it wasn't so much machines as things kind of existed and worked, but it was a different kind of energy. And everything was more intuitive, more heart-centered, right? Okay.
Right.
All
Right.
right. All right. All this good stuff's going on.
Right.
And if you
and machines were more born out of
I almost like
our
plants.
intuitive nature and the organic ability for us to create a machine versus technology, industrialization, and greed.
Right.
Or
I feel
power over.
Yeah, like
Structure.
more intuitive, more nature-based.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so all this was happening. And if you want another source of reading, I don't know, I keep looking like there's an audience for us, but there isn't. I know you're listening, but I keep thinking you're actually here.
Yeah, it's good. It looks good. Feels good.
So, in addition to Captain D, there's also the books by that one archaeologist, the
13 Planets guy.
Yeah, I've tried to read those.
Sitchin?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
Zacharias
And he is dry as a matzah, without any butter on it. But
man,
he knows his stuff.
Yeah, he's extracted some pretty big history.
And I will do it because I've read Valis by Philip K. Dick, which I can handle. So, anyway, what I'm saying is this: everything I've gathered from this is like, women were basically running the planet in a feminine-centered. I'm not saying like we were like. I don't know. Was it like
so? The precession of equinoxes is a 26,900 year, give or take a few years cycle.
And let me just. We talk about this at the women's retreat, guys. Yeah. So that's why I'm bringing it up. I'm not just being loony.
Yeah. No. You're right on it. So that is the amount of time that it takes our galaxy to move around the central sun body, as astronomers refer to it. It's a massive energy. We're not the only galaxy, obviously, that makes a rotation around that body of energy. There are multiple galaxies and multiple systems, and this 26,900 year cycle is really a tiny cycle compared to some other galaxies. So
it's like the quick watch cycle.
It is, right? Which so explains us, right? So when we divide that cycle in half, and it's kind of an elliptical cycle, it's not a circle. When we divide it in half, we get the two polarizations. We get a masculine and a feminine.
Right. Okay.
And so the masculine is in charge for half the cycle. The masculine essence, or sacred masculine energy, and for the other cycle, the other half of the cycle, the sacred feminine is in charge. So yes, in terms of the precession of equinoxes, 14,000 years ago, we were in a feminine cycle. Mm-hmm. Where things were more of the heart, where there were conscious communities cohabitating, kind of the end of the mystery school eras, because that would have been, towards that final peace in Egypt. Right. So we were into intuition, we were into healing arts, we were into the heart, we were into connection and communities consciously with each other. Around the time of Atlantis,
right,
which was the fall of Atlantis, roughly 13,000 plus years ago. That was the fall of the masculine, or of the feminine into the masculine.
Right.
And we fell hard.
And we forgot everything.
We fell hard because on Atlantis there was massive misuse of power.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to get into that. This is what I'm getting into.
That's what I thought.
All right.
I'm going with you, girlfriend.
I know, because man, I always ask these questions. Mm-hmm. So, like, one of the things that if you follow this sort of train of thought, and again, if you've never heard of this, you might think we're just loonies, and maybe we are.
Look it up.
Look it up.
We got Google.
Captain D. No, don't do your own research. No, I'm kidding. Do your own research, but actually go to sources. But anyway, and both of the sources we mentioned earlier will be on our webpage.
Good.
Yes.
Fantastic.
But anyway, so here's my question. As a person that studied philosophy, and as a person that's just a complete loony when it comes to things, I just think about things all the time. And I think about how people, when I say the whole, witches, for instance. Let's just talk about witches. Think about how.
Hey, Halloween's coming up. Let's do it.
I know.
Let's do it.
So people have equated evil with that, which of course a lot of people now are all about becoming your own kind of witch, claiming your power, and that's I'm all for that.
It's a part of the shift from the masculine to the feminine.
What I'm wondering is, are some of the archetypes that we have that are considered to be evil as far as women go, reflections of things that may have happened in the end times of the feminine, and therefore it's almost like in the beginning when the masculine took over, I had this feeling like I kind of had to. Like I've always been at that point where I was like, why did this happen? Why this great forget? That's another thing that I was talking about. It's like the great forgetting, right?
It's a great phrase.
But it's like, why did this have to happen? And like, I'm wondering, like, if the great sacred masculine had to put into all of these structures of religion and crap. And again, I'm sorry if that's it's not crap, but whatever. All these structures, they're like, they're warning. Oh, look out! You know, if the ladies put on the hats again, we're in trouble. You know, they're going to come into power. I don't know. I mean, don't you feel like there may have been something that like was so horrendous? Because we have talked about how, like, the schism, like there were like people that moved forward, but people that didn't. You know what I'm saying? So what happened? What was the darkness?
Well,
We've talked about.
We're there now. You just said it. Some people move forward and some people don't. And what's forward? Who the hell knows?
Bye, Art.
But
he's got to go. Bye, buddy. Love you.
So, you know, what's forward and what's backwards? So I believe that my senses and everything I've read and my sense of kind of having those deep soul memories around Atlantis, that Atlantis was divided into many cultures of advanced evolutionary psychology and mind, and heart, but some did not have heart. And we were all cohabitating on this beautiful island. All sorts of things were happening. I think it was a very powerful and magical time because at any point in that ellipse, if you're at the edge of that 13,000 some odd year point where you're about to flip, it gets intensified. So your power can intensify there, right? So we were in a great time of power and experimentation. And I believe with the setting of the star tetrahedron crystals in the mid-Atlantic where the Bermuda Triangle is, in the experiments and DNA of crossing humans and animals and others, I think that we got into a place of misuse of power.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, the feminine was in charge of that era, absolutely. Matrilineal, matriarchal societies abounded. The equalization of the masculine and the feminine power embodied in men and women was very beautiful. It was equal. We were all equal. However, when we got to this point of intensification, the misuse of power very much intensified. Very much so. And so as we shifted and flipped, did that tipping point into this next phase of masculine,
Right.
we needed to be pretty deeply protected. One of the things that's talked about at that time is that many of us who were more of the feminine, more of the healing arts, the heart-led individuals and cultures, we kind of sensed that this time was coming, that there was such misuse of power abound that we needed to probably prepare ourselves. I actually kind of feel like that right now a little bit, honestly. So at that time, 13,000 plus years ago, a lot of us kind of knew that we needed to protect our soul and protect the information and protect the ultimate ability to really understand ourselves as masters in body. And we needed to kind of shut down, believe it or not, the palm chakras a little bit. Because if you knew yourself as a master in body and can command energy, a part of that is being able to really push energy and receive energy with the hands and really coordinate energy consciously, right? So a lot of things happened. We kind of wrapped ourselves with this thick cocoon of protection around the soul and our essence. We shut off these chakra points that are pretty vital. And we went into a deep sleeping in the protection of a very deep and protective masculine. Okay. In order to protect the secrets. So when we talked about over the weekend in the Sacred Feminine class, the migrations of the Sacred Feminine, a lot of those migrations sprung out of that tipping time, that tipping point where we went deeply into sleeping, because those who embodied those great principles of equality, no secrets, we're all masters in body, and here are the keys. We had to hold those here in our consciousness and be guarded and protected as we migrated and brought those to different cultures around the world. So, yes.
Like, okay.
Yes, and so the masculine, that very beautiful protection, the time of the masculine coming into our sleep and dreaming to protect us, that needed to take place. Secondarily to that, just to complicate it a little bit, as women in the sacred feminine essence, we started to fear our power.
Right.
We started to doubt our connection. And that caused us to project our fear of power onto the masculine. And we started to see the masculine abusing, right? Their power over us. Part of that's driven by their beautiful longing to be that connected, which we now know in this generation and time that we need to share all of this power through our vulnerability with every masculine, all the masculine. But back then we needed to kind of protect it. But we also feared our power. And when we projected that into the masculine energy, we got a lot of the witches. We got a lot of persecution of women.
Yeah, like,
right?
So when women were starting to wake up a little bit, find their power, because we had projected, and again, I know victims, but whatever.
Right.
It's like we have reflected this fear of our own power, and therefore we somehow wanted to, I mean, again, the way you phrase it's careful. You have to be careful because you don't want to sound like you're not respecting what people went through, but
totally respecting you.
But if we're all just souls and masters in body, that's what we're talking about here. I guess, like, for me, as a very curious angel person, it's like, okay, what were we protecting ourselves? Okay, abuse of power. WTF, what the fuck was going on back then? Like, was it, and again, I mean, I've read the book, so I know that he talks about, like, the Martians coming and messing with Lemuria.
All sorts of tribes from all sorts of places of galaxies and dimensions.
Well, it's just really interesting because I think when you study this whole concept of working with the soul, healing, blah, blah, blue, blue, which of course, I'm all up for that. You especially as an angel, you completely think that everything and everyone is all good, ultimately, right? And we are all one. The evil and the good are all on the same plane. It's just bringing it together, right? But to say, like, at that point, you got to try and protect yourselves, protect your knowledge from what? Like, was there, like, Godzilla, which I think is
from misuse.
Okay, but who was misusing and why and what were...
Well, it was already starting at the end of that turning from the feminine to the masculine. That was already... It was having power over rather than empowering.
Right, and we know what that's like.
It was utilizing these beautiful natural laws that we are fully tuned into, that they are a part of our organic nature. It was a misuse of those in order to have power over, in order to gain power.
Okay,
so that's what the protection. That's why.
Are those beings, like, okay, this is a pretty whacked out question.
Good, go for it.
All right.
I did them all day long. You might as well throw them out right now.
I know.
I'm on my cocktail, so I'm good.
Let's say I'm a person. Let's just go back. Let's go all the way back to Atlantis, right?
Yeah.
And let's just say I was like a big grand poobah of misuse of power, and you weren't, right? Like maybe in this lifetime now we're working it out because we're besties.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's good times.
That's good. Good
times. Anyway, but like, okay, this is a really big question. Can a soul be corrupted? And the reason I'm asking that question is, like, if you have a person in that time, we're talking like the end time of that equinox, and we're talking the pinnacle of power, and they're misusing the power, I guess my thing is, like, they're just going to pop out when they die, and they're going to be like, oh shit, I screwed up. Now I got to go back and fix this, right? And the whole process is part of a cycle that has to happen because that's how things work, right? So listen, I and we've done past life regression, and I feel like at least 3 of the times I was rotten as hell.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like, you pop out and you go, oh, fuck. Why did I do that? And then your friends and your soul group are like, dude, I tried to stop you, but you killed me.
did
You're
it
like,
anyway.
I'm so sorry. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I didn't like my body anyway. Anyway, so like you go in and then you have to come back and it's not so much fix it, but then you have to go through the process again. It's like a video game where it's like, I screwed up. I missed jumping on this little thing. So now I have to start in the beginning again. So my question is, if I am super evil in a past life, like it's to the point where I'm in Atlantis and I'm just zapping people with my lasers from my eyeballs so that I can steal their crystals so that I can make my uber weapon to make myself immortal, which would be so boring. Anyway, so I do that and then I die anyway because I get, syphilis or something. So does my soul retain the darkness that I have created on this earth? This is a very good question.
All things go into the collective memory.
I know.
You know
The
that.
Akashic Records, yes, where the octopus is living.
All things done.
Okay, but
all
what
soul's
I'm saying, does
experiences.
my soul itself...
But you're trying to identify, I think you're trying to identify your soul as the same lifetime after lifetime, that it contains all of the
snap.
same elements.
Oh, you're gonna whip me on this one. I know.
Yeah, you are part of the collective.
Okay.
You return to the collective. That's where neutrality is at. That's where there's no good and bad. That's where we're all playing a part of the game that we're all choosing to create and play together.
I would really love to know who's in charge of it. And that brings me up...
Is there anybody in charge
I
of it?
don't know.
Does there need to be anybody in charge of it?
Good point.
I'm not sure that there is anybody really ultimately in charge of it, because I think at that point, maybe you refer to it as the Godhead, maybe you refer to it as full course source point. We're all one, which means we're all love and light, which means we're all choosing. So see it as like a central sun body of magnificent power and gravitation. Just like that central sun body that our galaxy spins around. Might that be the place where we're all connected? And therefore, this whole choosing to move out of that into duality is all of these different precessions, all these different galaxies rotating around with all these different inhabitants in body or other types of bodies or consciousness. I don't know. The point being, we're in this. This is what we've created. We all contain shadow. We all contain light. Our shadow is simply the parts of us that we haven't owned and accepted and loved.
Right.
And revealed, it's a part of us that we feel ashamed of.
Yeah.
Splintered from, regretful about. That's where we're at right now. That's why we're at this point.
It really feels it. Like that's what I'm saying with the sadness.
Everything is reflective. You can feel it right now. I'm starting to notice I'm like going into a little hunkering down. And it's not just because it's just past solstice and into the fall, coming into winter. It's kind of, I'm feeling a collective like, oh boy, we're starting to kind of pull in again. Yeah. Here we go. What's that
it's like
about?
We were let out because of the pandemic, and now
we got a little reprieve, right? Yeah.
And I feel bad for the children right now. And again, bad isn't really the word. It's just like they have a burden of stress on them.
Well, and I think at the soul level, they chose that.
Sure.
They chose to come in. They know that at the soul level. They've chosen to come in now.
I'll just tell it to my child right now.
Hard.
You chose this. You chose to live with me for sure.
Get over it.
But
you're not a victim.
Anyway, like in my mind, I always wonder, are there some warning signs, of people that will abuse power? And I'm not saying, all I'm saying is like...
Are you fucking kidding me? Facebook. The glaring warning sign. But what's the issue? What's the core issue of Facebook?
Right.
Our giving our power away.
Right.
Our choosing to go into that rabbit hole and keep going into it and keep wanting more and more and more.
Right. Right.
You know, so yes, boom, right there. That's the poster child of misuse of power, but it's driven by our need to kind of figure out what's misuse of power, and so we're giving our power away
Right.
to it
Right.
and becoming victims to it and losing the whole premise of our connection to each other and our love for one
Have I
another.
talked about how I feel like it's the Tower of Babel? All this whole.
I
yeah.
love it.
Yeah,
You're right. Fantastic, Angel. You got that. Yeah,
Well,
Tower
you
of
know,
Babel's a great
That's
metaphor.
all I've got.
Great
That's my one
connection.
insight. I'm just gonna put it out
No,
there.
that's beautiful.
Well, anyway, I just think about I guess my question always is, what was it? What happened? Who did it? I don't even know why. I think it's just that whole cerebral thing. But on top of that, it's just like, I feel like the parts of us as females that are demonized are the parts of us that are actually where all the strength is.
Correct.
And
It's the
but
shadow.
if we use that as abuse of power, which I know what abuse of power is. Like as a female, I know how to abuse power if I need to.
Women can be even,
Worse.
I think,
Yes.
worse.
Yes, I agree.
Shadow side of women is pretty
It's pretty
gnarly.
awful. Yeah. And again, as a angel soul type, all I feel is compassion usually for people that have that, because it's like I see the pain where the shadow is.
Right.
Anyway, tonight's just not the funny night. I don't know. I just felt like
No,
talking
this
about
is
that.
good. It's deep stuff. I think it's the full moon. I felt it, kind of creeping in all
Yeah, my
week.
dog, our dog Elo, loves the full moon. She won't go to sleep. She
Yeah,
sits outside
good
and
for
stares
her.
at it.
She's
Yeah.
still really connected. That's so great.
So cute. So tonight, our show, we have a long-time listener, wink, wink, first-time caller, wink, wink, one of my best friends.
Sending us a question.
She had a dream where she saw this, like, really crazy thing, and she sent the picture to me. And it has a little bit, I'm going to describe it. Well, maybe I'll just show it to you first.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have tried not to look at it so that I wouldn't get any ideas.
Good for you.
So this is in a dream.
Oh, wow.
And we'll show you Claire Bears.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. The angel is all in gray, no lace, gray halo, holding a black sheep by the legs, and wearing red sandals.
Like
He is
Birkenstocks.
holding the sacrificial lamb. What a picture. And pencil drawing, but those red sandals.
We'll put
Wow,
this on our
and-
website.
And she names the angel as he, so masculine, and the sacrificial lamb. So what does she want to know about this?
I don't know. She just wanted like our first impressions of it. Like, what do we think?
Let's see, what might this mean? Why, out of all the bizarre dreams I have on a regular basis, was I compelled to draw this one? I wasn't afraid of the angel, but it did seem sad, depressed, or as if it had been blanketed, or it had blanketed feelings. His head was down, he had no face. When I saw the angel, the lamb, the sheep, was wound up in a thick white fabric, with its feet being held by the angel. I carefully unwound the fabric and found it was a black sheep, very woolly. Oh, I think I'm getting something on that. You read through that.
All right,
I think
let
you're going to get something
me
on that
show
too.
it to our panel
That's
here.
a good one. And we'll need to have that picture to put into the
Oh,
podcast.
we will put it in there. As an angel, I can't say I've got much of a read on it. Like, I feel like the black sheep for me would be like the troublemaker, and the angel is not getting rid of it, but more just taking care of it. But the gray would be, it kind of reminds me of Destiny in the Sandman series, which is, he has the book of life, of whatever, the future, everything chained to his hands, and he just has to deal with stuff. So for him, it's like, it's neither good nor bad. He's just trying to like not necessarily change the nature of the sheep. What do you think, sweetie?
No, I think
The red,
you're
I have no
going
idea.
somewhere.
The red's just like flashy.
I think red when it comes to footwear,
Yes.
yes. I mean,
She's wearing
if
very
you go
sexy
beyond
boots
the
right now.
Pope, yeah, I mean, that's because I
The
wanted
Pope's
to focus
outfits
there.
are
so-
incredible. They're on point.
Right, so it's that red, it's earth, it's
Yeah.
that blood color, it's
Yeah.
vibrancy, it's life.
Oh, she did say sacrificial. Okay, well that would
Mm-hmm.
say to me that the black sheep is always the one that has to be that gets ultimately sacrificed because they're different, and that's not cool.
And the black sheep was bound by the white cord until she unwrapped it and saw it as the black
Oh,
sheep.
she took care of it.
Yeah,
the
she
angel
did.
brought the sheep
She-
to her.
yeah.
Like the whole thing of sacrificial would be the one that just takes on everybody's shit.
Everybody's stuff. Exactly. That's the point I'm thinking right there.
And the white and unbound. I don't. She doesn't really say in there if it got set free. I'm sure the angel's not going to like. It's an angel, so we're not going to kill it.
No. But there's so many good metaphors around the one who stands out, the one who's different,
Yeah.
you know, and being unwrapped from the white cord to reveal that nature.
And
That red and those red sandals.
well, I like the
What
whole
might that be
gray
walking in?
because I feel like gray is the color like where where it's like the clouds are starting to gather rain, which is necessary, but it's always like nobody likes gray days. Of course, Claire knows that I very much enjoy
I
rainy
bet you
days.
do.
I like
Cooking
days. I
There's
like
like gray in between black and white.
yeah, gray is like this special like area where it's like anything kind of goes. It's like but it accepts all things. You know, you don't have to be perfect with gray. But yeah, it just
Yeah,
feels
and
like
I think, look, dreams are our, so we have that subconscious mind thing.
Yeah.
That big old middle ground between the conscious waking state and the superconscious unmanifest, magical place of all things.
I
right?
think
All
speaking
beings.
of that, I
Yes.
think that Captain Dream, which would be Jung.
Yes.
I think that like Freud like had a complete like
my God.
he wanted to be Jung. He's
I
like
think he wanted to be Jung. Yeah. I absolutely think he was, absolutely had penis envy of Jung. Yes.
I think he had I would like to say a hard on for Jung.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Right?
I don't know if that's a
Always
technical
comparing
Freudian
himself to
term,
Jung.
the hard on,
Well, because look.
We gotta turn this episode at
Freudian
least, R at some
man,
point.
Freudian stuff, just don't get me started. I think that was the downfall of our study of the psyche of the soul.
I remember studying it and I got so
brought
mad.
the study of the soul more to the forefront, and as far as I'm concerned, we need to stay there.
Yeah.
Because we get fixated on dividing ourselves into three pieces, which has validity in some levels,
Sure it
especially
does.
the ego piece. I actually kind of like the analysis of the ego. But we are one big, massive collective metaphor. And
Yeah.
divided into a jillion myths that really reflect the archetype and archetypes that we are. And, we can go into Freudian stuff, but that's what kind of caused the modernization of what used to be psyche study into psychology, which broke it all apart and started a kind of almost a division in ourselves further.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, as soon as I heard about Freud's idea that, I don't even want to go into it. It just
Yeah.
makes me want to barf. But anyway,
I think I'm
it's
tracking
like,
on this, especially let's
Like-
have multiple orgasms to try to clear this paranoia.
where do I sign up for that?
Yeah,
I would
no,
like
that
to
was
actually sign
part
up
of
for
it. I think that was a part of his.
Who does that?
That was
Is
part of
that,
his.
is that
yeah,
a
that kind
service
of
we can
sprung
get here
out
in
of Freud.
Spokane?
Yeah. Oh, she has terrible melancholy. Let's make her orgasm a jillion times. to
That
see
would be
if-
great. Seriously, I would sign up for that.
Yeah, it
I'm
might also
kidding.
drive you a little crazy.
Really? I don't
Uh-huh.
think so.
I think that's
But-
actually what they found is it splintered people.
Lovely.
splintered
Okay,
women.
great. Way to pop my balloon on
See,
that
I
one.
told ya.
It was a balloon of
So I didn't
fun.
pop your cherry.
Oh, hey, stop. It's getting gross.
Sorry, Claire.
This is the rated
This is
R
part
version
of
of
it. Yeah,
the.
now we're getting there. We're editing
I
some
think
of
we
this
need to
out, you
drum a
can
little
tell.
more to just clean that out. Any hoodle. So yeah, see, misuse of power. Hello, where's your hat? No,
Well, just being real.
I'm kidding.
Because they gotta love this body. Dreams are your subconscious speaking to you, and a lot of times you're getting images and messages from guides as well in those dreams.
Right, and I think that's where it's like,
What's happening for you now where that dream occurred?
As far as like dream interpretation, it's really important to know that you can get books on it, but whatever really rings out to you is what's important.
Yeah, it really is. Especially, I think the more you're practicing your bubble, practicing your heart lock, staying open and connected, your dreams might become a little more alive, a little more current.
I think
and
we
helpful.
should put on the website like how to do that, the heart lock and the bubble,
Oh, yeah,
the
we
quick
should do
version
that.
of it. And if you're interested in any of these workshops that Jo Beth does, she has it on her website, and we'll have it on our website.
Yeah.
We're not having any one soon because we're pooped
We're not.
out.
We're starting to get to the holidays, and I am dead dog tired. So.
Really recommend that you read the Flower of Life book.
Flower of Life, Secrets of the Flower of Life, books 1 and 2 are fantastic. The entire series is on video as well.
I recommend the book because I think you'll get more out of it. However, if you're not a mathy person, which I am not, it's okay to skip those parts. Kidding.
Oh yeah, no,
No,
I think the videos are kind of the funnest.
Are they good?
They
I've
are.
never watched
because he's so fun. Drunvalo is so fun to watch.
And then, how do we say his name? Sitchin?
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 Zechariah Sitchin?
Listen, if you like sci-fi, it kind of is
Sitchin.
almost like a sci-fi, but it's more like the Lord of the Rings
Zechariah
version of sci-fi.
Sitchin, you have to
But
be
it's not sci-fi.
you have to be prepared to kind of go, oh shit, this planet's been around a really long time, and there's been a lot of other cultures and a lot of other things that have happened here.
Yeah, if you think that
It's a little out there.
it's
but
pretty awesome, like I mean seriously,
kinda
and it makes you
might
think.
have happened.
Well, I kind of think that all fiction, all sci-fi, comic books, all of our myths, everything, it's just simply a reflection of the truth that
And,
we actually lived.
I think that this planet is an absolute Garden of Eden. A Garden of Eden here.
Okay, I thought you said evil.
No,
but yeah, Eden.
Garden
Let's
of
put
Eden.
an Eden. Yeah.
I think that I'll bet you this planet, in and amongst the other planets of a bunch of other galaxies, is pretty special.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's why we get a lot of attention and a lot of shit goes on here. Because
Yeah.
we're in some pretty big processes for ourselves as a collective mind and heart to try to find our way back.
Yeah, and
It's quite a journey.
while you were talking about the collective souls, I was thinking about, and this is my usual brain, how what's happening on Earth is almost like channels of a television, or like the channels we can get now on TV, and all of us are living little shows that our souls are watching. And that's
Sure.
why when I watch a show like Loki, I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, totally,
Makes
I'm a
perfect sense,
variant.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes so much sense.
Doesn't it?
So I
I
guess
think we're all variants.
we all are.
We are all variants.
And you know, Jo Beth, she is so wise and has so many wonderful things to say. But I will say this, like, I think, like, if you could just listen to your imagination
Yes.
more, that
That's
is
what
one
I'd
thing that
say.
she taught me. And it's
We're all
like, that
just
is your
as
soul
wise.
talking to you. And so, again, a lot of the stuff we may have talked about in this episode, you might be like, these ladies are whacked. But
Way out there.
this is stuff we think about all the time. And I'm sitting there always going, huh, what did we do? How did we screw this up?
What happened here?
Who's responsible?
What? I don't understand this part, but okay.
Yeah, things don't work in that kind of realm anymore. It's beyond that. Anyway,
I hope. I hope
just-
that this new phase of sacred masculine moving into sacred feminine, the great turning, as we come into this point, really will be an opportunity for us to make a pretty big leap
yeah.
in our evolution and
Me
in
too.
our own, reflected in our own relationships with each other, because it's going to be kind of now or never, my sense is. We
Yeah.
don't have that many more years to be able to make this leap, so.
But like I can think in, I know so many men that I would say are part of that sacred
Oh, my
masculine.
God, so many men.
Guy sitting over here.
That's right. The
right
guy
across from
that
us,
just
my
left. That's it.
husband,
Yeah,
son,
yeah,
your
absolutely.
husband,
Yeah,
your son,
yeah.
my
They are.
dad, your
We're all
dad.
a part of it. We're all a part of it. And what we see right now is very reflective of the masculines, the patriarchal power gasping its last breaths. So
Yeah,
it's looking pretty
holding
gnarly,
on.
and the shadow part's
And
coming
there's no
up to be.
need.
healed.
It's like it's okay. You can let go, and we can take. It's like we're good.
Yeah, well, when you've based reality on a lot of greed and power, it's hard to let go of all that.
I sure hope we don't have any like islands of sinking and like that. No, stop it. It's all going to be positive and everyone's going to be easy and we're all going to get to go to the store and buy whatever we want. So tired of all the stores
as long as you can make it out to those shipping vessels that are all sitting out in the Pacific
literally,
right now.
I cannot get...
Just row your boat out there and pull off what you want on that vessel.
I can't get spicy Cheetos for my son. Spicy, crispy Cheetos. My son eats nothing. He won't eat.
Yes.
He's
Look,
very
you have
picky.
a whole pantry you can fill up downstairs.
Which I have.
Oh,
but
and they
not
just don't
all
have
the-
spicy Cheetos.
He needs them. You eat bacon in those. Bacon those and edamame.
Wow. All right. Well, there you go.
He looks like our handsome friend over here.
He's tall and thin. Yep.
All right. Well, that's it for tonight.
All right. Thank you, Angel Friend.
Thank you, Shaman Friend. And check out our website. Thank you for being a listener.
Yeah, thank you.